ASAP. The next one, Mr. Albert Chan. Mr. Leung Kwok Hong just now spoke on amendment number 533 about this name card secretary, and he was speaking about his blunders and making comments in that regard. I would like to give you a few more examples and facts to support my amendments. And he has two sins, as I pointed out. He blindly follows C.Y. Leung's instructions, and he blindly promoted the ITB. The third sin, Chairman, I think this is an even more serious blunder in terms of administration. He's condoning the Hong Kong Post in relation to a consultancy report commissioned, and also he is not supervising the Hong Kong Post properly. See Policy Agenda 4 under the Industry, Commerce and Tourism branch of CDB, it is said that Hong Kong Post should protect the consumer's interest, and its major work in 2015-16 is to ensure that the trading fund of Hong Kong Post will operate smoothly and also implement measures to improve productivity and customer service. So Hong Kong Post is one of the major work areas of SCED. There are problems with Hong Kong Post. The secretary made a blunder with giving out his name cards, and afterwards he was ignoring the problems of Hong Kong Post and hiding certain information from us. So the problems, the mistakes are really grave. Hong Kong Post is lacking competitiveness. Recently, media reports, newspaper reports have carried reports on that. There has been problem with OT work of the Hong Kong Post staff, and there are service problems. And some of the letters and mails have been opened up without authorization, and where they couldn't pin down on who should take the blame. So all these problems with the Hong Kong Post go to show that the department is marred with problems. In 2000, with the changes in the society and people's habits, postal service should be overhauled. In 2008, the government hired a consultant to do a study on the service, and $4.1 million was used to appoint a Hanscott consultant, an international consultancy, to do the study. Well, the name may sound very Chinese, but it's a company from the Netherlands, a very famous consultant, and it's a very experienced consultant company, an international company. So the focus of the study then was to look at the latest developments of local mail courier, international courier services, and also try to come up with ideas to meet with local mail needs, and also the Hong Kong's Post in the international mailing sector. Now, South China Morning Post carried a report and asked me for comment on this matter, and I started to get to follow on the issue. And there are a lot of problems found, and the director must take, or rather the secretary must take the political responsibility. And I hope that the media and members of the community should be concerned about the matter. Only one English and one newspaper paid attention to such an issue, and I think the problem is very, very serious. Now, for this study report, of course, the government commissions a lot of consultancy studies. Well, it's very seldom that a consultant study or report can't be completed. When the media asked the government why the study commissioned in 2008 was not completed, of course, the reporter was tipped off in one way or another. And what the government's answer was, well, actually, I also wrote into the government on the same subject on the 8th of April. I wrote to the CEDB to ask the Hong Kong Post why it's not releasing the results of this report. The Hong Kong Post said that to the media, the study was not completed, and it pointed its finger at the consultant of not finishing all the study works that need to be done as set down in the contract, and the contract was stopped or terminated. Did any payment was any payment effected? Well, for confidentiality reasons, they could not give the results of the arbitration or mediation. And since then, the Hong Kong Post has not appointed another consultant to conduct similar study. This is so very abnormal. This consultant may not work. And would you be hiring another consultant in a short time to conduct a similar study to map out the future direction of Hong Kong Post? But since the contract was terminated in mid-2009, there was no further follow-up on the matter until the day when a newspaper found out that there was a problem. When I wrote to the government on the 8th of April, and on the 30th of April, 3 weeks later, a reply came back, and it said that the consultant study, its quality is not up to standard, and they cannot make the improvement within a reasonable period of time. And without sufficient good information, they have come up with recommendations. So the Hong Kong Post decided to terminate the contract in May 2009. I think the answer was incomplete and misleading. And I was thinking that it was actually a slandering on the consultant. You made a reply from your side. You said that they didn't provide sufficient information, they didn't do the work required. Well, whether this is true is very important. I have every reason to suspect that this is not what has happened, is not the reality. This is only part of the truth, and it may not be the real reason for the contract termination. The consultant has at the same time been conducting studies for a number of other government departments and countries, and it has completed all the studies. And these studies are well acclaimed worldwide. So I have to pass a fair comment on this consultant. The government made criticism on this consultant, but this consultant has never been under such criticisms from other countries. So the government's criticism is unconvincing. The government said the report has not been completed. Maybe that's a lie, and that's misleading. I hope that you will all pay attention to this issue. To my understanding, the report is not that the report has not been completed. All the 3 parts have been completed.
And the report is over 500 pages thick. The report has got detailed analysis of data. It is very convincing. The conclusion of the report might be the crux of the matter. The report pointed out that Hong Kong Post lacked competitiveness. Staff salaries were too high and productivity far from satisfactory. Hong Kong Post was suggested to streamline its structure and to raise service fees so that its operation can be more competitive. I believe that the Bureau back then and the Hong Kong Post found the recommendations unacceptable. The consultancy firm was independent based on its understanding of the market and the Hong Kong Post came up with its independent analysis and made a recommendation. Because the conclusion did not please the Hong Kong Post, it was rejected. It was just like when the operate and transfer model was adopted by the WHX. I said that the flow was too low. No one would be interested in bidding for the project. I was the only one who voted against the decision. It was just like 5 years ago. I criticized the XRL Hong Kong section. I said to Evie Zhang that the site investigation was too rough, and using this approach would cause the construction costs to rise substantially. And Evie Zhang said no, the design was made and it would be done as scheduled. So this is exactly the problem of Hong Kong Post. The report was rejected. The consultancy firm was smeared. The administration is deceiving this council, deceiving the media, deceiving the people of Hong Kong, putting the blame on the consultancy report. I hope that the administration can publish all the relevant information. I believe the consultancy firm would be willing to do so. The government's attitude is one of hiding the facts from us, and we must condemn such behavior and reject such behavior. Cutting the pay of the secretary will vindicate the consultancy firm, will do justice to it, and because the government has overlooked the facts, and we have to point out that this kind of behavior can not be put up with. Is entirely unacceptable. In this debate, I'd like to point out this problem and put on record such comments. At least it will not be just for the administration to smear the name of the company to the media. So for these two sins, this blind push to set up the ITB, refusal to issue a free TV license to Hong Kong TV, and also the incident involving Hong Kong Post. These three sins are enough justifications to cut the full-year provision to pay the Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development. We've got only 6